Is divine healing in the atonement? Well, the short answer is, and I'm grabbing my Bible right now, the short answer is absolutely it's in the atonement. Please, please understand it. Now, Jesus died to save everybody, and everybody's not saved. Jesus died to heal everybody. Everybody doesn't get healed. That one, however, we can understand better. And it's simply because of this. The church doesn't really teach it. In fact, they teach against it. And I know there are those who have got into this type of ministry for all the wrong motives and reasons. Millions of dollars have been raised off the backs of sick people. It makes me angry. But you don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Divine healing is real for the body and for the mind. Sometimes God does it directly. Sometimes He does it through better climate, better diet, better exercise, through love and understanding, through wonderful doctors and surgeons, the nurses and so forth. But look what it says over here in Isaiah. And this is about 750 years before Christ. And here's what it says in Isaiah 53 and verse 4. Surely He hath borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. You read that in the Hebrew, it says clearly, surely He hath borne our pains and our sicknesses. Now, when you go on to the next verse, but He was wounded for our transgressions, He was bruised for our iniquities, the chastisement of our peace was upon Him, and by His stripes we're healed. Healing there is speaking about the healing of the soul. But you cannot deny it, that Isaiah 53 and verse 4 is speaking about Jesus not only bearing our sins when He died on the cross, but bearing our pains and our sicknesses relating to the mind and to the body, because He died to make man whole, W-H-O-L-E. And if He just died for one part of us, the soul, though that's the most important, it still would be incomplete. But you know, if there is a question about Isaiah 53 and verse 4, well, it's cleared up when you read Matthew chapter 8. Because in Matthew chapter 8, after Jesus had healed the people physically, Matthew clearly says in verse 17, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, Himself took our infirmities. He took your infirmities. He bare our sicknesses. You see, in this chapter of Matthew chapter 8, Matthew 8, for instance, the first part of it, without giving all the verses, we have a lot of questions to get to. It says that Jesus healed a leper. So that's a physical disease. Then in verse 6, He heals somebody who is grievously tormented. And then in verse 14, He heals Peter's, his wife's mother, who was sick of a fever. These are all physical afflictions. And after that had happened, then Matthew said this, verses 16 and 17. When the evening was come, they brought unto Him many that were possessed with devils. And He cast out the spirits with His word, and healed all that were sick, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, Himself took our infirmities and bare our sicknesses. So here's what the question says. Is divine healing in the atonement? Now, because we've got a bunch of questions and not going into any one with great length or specifics, I have to move on. But the answer is absolutely. And you can claim your miracle healing from God because it is in the atonement, according to Isaiah, according to Matthew, and also according to Peter, 1 Peter 2:24, who His own self bare our sins in His own body on the tree, that we being dead to sin might live unto righteousness, by whose stripes ye were healed. You see, that's the past tense. Isaiah looked forward to it, Peter looked back on it, but they all agree, we are healed. Isn't that absolutely wonderful? That's question number one.